right, well, Dodgers are done, so Doug and I found our way back to the dugout. No pun intended there, Doug.
Very good, Maria. Well, it's spring training for everyone. We're working on our material. It'll get better as the year goes on. Don't panic.
Oh, hopefully as the show goes on.
We can hope.
Yes.
Dare to dream.
Yes. Now, there have been a few bumps and bruises along the way in spring training, so we caught up with Dodgers head medical trainer Stan Conti, who gives us the injury report. We'll just get updated on some of the players' conditions here through training camp. I know Casey Blake's got a little bump and bruise. What's going on with him?
Well, he had a back problem in a very kind of strange place, not in his low back and not in his mid back, it was sort of in between. Had some inflammation around the spine. And he was hitting yesterday on a tee, and we're going to give him a day off today and kind of move him along. I don't think it's going to be a long time. The question always is how long.
Right.
And so the timetable will be determined by his back.
Right.
So we'll see how it goes.
And I know that we talk about back injuries a lot because you kind of have to just wait and see with them.
Yeah, he came into camp in really good shape, and that really will help.
Good.
The only thing unfortunate about Casey is that it's attached to a 37-year-old,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
and then there's a little bit of increased healing time there. So we're going to be careful. The idea is to get him back, but to keep him back, so not just get him out there too quickly.
And we saw John Garland while he was pitching having the injury. So how's he doing?
He's doing actually well. The oblique injury is always one that real hard to prevent and comes out of nowhere and takes about 35 days or so to get over. The first couple of weeks you can't do a whole lot, but he actually is throwing. He's out to about 90 feet throwing. We can't throw real hard yet because that'll cause the oblique to get irritated and not heal. So he's kind of still in the healing phase, but he is on schedule, and the more we can throw, the more we keep his shoulder in shape, and the quicker we'll get him back out here. He unfortunately will not make the season start, but the way our schedule is, it really helps a lot because we don't need that fifth starter for a little bit. But he's another guy that is very important to get out there,
Yeah.
but not to get re-injured.
Right.
And so we're going to be pretty careful and make sure it's a long season, and we want to have all our guys out there right on day one, but sometimes that doesn't always happen. The key is to get the rest of the season without an injury.
We have to remember it's a marathon, right?
It's a marathon.
Yeah, when you talk about an injury like that coming on out of nowhere, what causes it?
Well, the oblique injury is really a strange one, and the question is where were they 25 years ago, and whether or not they're a new phenomenon, or maybe they were misdiagnosed or called something else.
Okay.
And when we look at the research, we just really don't see them. So we're not really sure why in the last 10 or 15 years we've seen them, and they seem to be slightly increasing. They're sure not going away. And there's a lot of different theories to it. Some is that there's not enough core exercises done. Other people think that we do too many core exercises. So you got people all over the map on that. It doesn't seem to have any existing issues or anything else. It just comes, and it's a very significant injury, and you can't pitch through it.
No.
Anyone who says they have an oblique injury they've been pitching through doesn't have a true oblique injury.
Well, and as you could see just from his mannerisms when he was on the mound and it came on, very quick, very sharp.
Yeah, and it very typical the way they act. And as soon as he threw the pitch, I knew it was an oblique injury. I knew what the MRI was going to look like. I knew what was going to happen and and hopefully we know how many days it will be before he's out there.
Okay, now what about Padilla? What timetable is he on?
Well, again, we've got just a slew of strange injuries. The radial nerve injury that Padilla has is we can only find one pitcher ever in the history of baseball who's had it. Wow. So after the surgery, we're not really sure how long to wait or when to do things, and so we consulted a lot of people across the country and decided that we could start throwing him pretty early because of the nature of the surgery. And he's been throwing really since 8 days after surgery. And he's been doing very well. He had a bullpen 2 days ago for the first time. A little bit of soreness afterwards, so we're being pretty cautious. He's back throwing again today. The timetable is, we projected about 2 months out of surgery. He's way ahead of that schedule, but we're not really sure what's going to happen when we start getting into batting practice and game situations and how that'll hold up. But we're very, very encouraged by the progress he's made so far.
It's interesting because you and I talk about the fact that these guys can say, I'm feeling better, I'm okay, but they're not always, so.
No, and that's the reason that we take him in different transition steps, and throwing on flat ground, throwing off the mound, throwing to hitters, throwing in a simulated game, throwing in a rehab game, and then finally throwing in a major league game. Now, one of the things that's going to help us with Padilla is that he's being brought back as a reliever and not a starter,
Right.
and that will shorten his time, because in a starter like Garland, we're going to have to take a lot more time to get his pitch counts up,
Right.
and then have to wait in between his starts, and so the time period goes much slower. On a reliever, you can move much quicker. You can throw three times in a week, where in a starter you can only throw once in a week.
Right.
So the time period will be shorter as far as getting him back to the major leagues once we start getting him into competition.
Now, who else has got bumps and bruises going on in the spring?
Well, Jamie Carroll got hit by a pitch, about 2 weeks ago, and looked at him and it was sore, but he was able to get back. It got sorer again, so it only hurts him when he throws, but he can hit fine. So he's hitting in the minor leagues every day, getting 6 or 7 at bats a day, and he's going to be ready for the season. Everything's going to be good. We just want to get the last bit of the soreness out, since we do have the time right now.
Yeah. Very good.
Not too bad.
Well, pretty good spring then.
Well, yeah, you want 0, so we're never satisfied unless there's 0. The couple injuries that we have with Padilla and Garland, and Casey Blake are disconcerting. And after we beat ourselves up a little bit and get back on the horse and get them going, we feel better. But not too bad so far.
Well, that will do it for us from Camelback Ranch. Of course, we're doing 2 teams in 2 days. We'll be with the Angels tomorrow, Doug.
2 teams in 2 days on our $2 budget, Maria. We're doing fine.
That's it. All you Dodger fans, we'll see you back at Chavez Ravine. I'm Maria Sorrell for Doug Hughes, and we'll see you next time.